Hello and welcome to another episode of Drum Talk. This time I don't want to talk about hardware, today it's time for some snare drum related topics. So a few weeks ago I got a snare drum which was pretty worn out and didn't sound that good at all. So I replaced the lugs and hoops, checked the bearing edges and also wanted to do this with the snare bed, but unfortunately there wasn't any. So that was maybe a key why the sound was so bad. And today I want to talk a little bit about why snare drums are so necessary with modern drums. Back in the days we had these pretty massive parallel flare-offs where a snare bed wasn't really necessary because the snare wires went above the shell diameter and only they had contact with the bottom surface. So over the years the industry or many brands simplified the hardware and the standard strainer as we know them found place in the market. Unlike the long snare wires of the parallel flare-offs, the standard strainer uses, as many of you know, a way shorter system where also the end plates are inside the shell diameter. So the main problem is if you don't have a snare bed, these plates are flat of course, and because of the geometry of the round diameter of the snare, these end plates are not flat on the surface. The pressure is way bigger on the outside compared to them in the inside. So you won't get an equal or smooth snare response. Whatever you try, you won't get any good result. Basically, a snare bed is just a deeper section along the bearing edges over the width of the snare wires. So it helps these end plates to find a smooth and a little bit deeper spot on the bottom head, and also helps to get equal pressure over all the snare wires. So you have a great snare response, the equal tension on every wire, and you don't get any snare loss or something like this. But there's another problem because standard snares or standard snare beds are made for snare wires in between 20 to 24 strings. So if you want to use a way bigger one like 30, 40 or 50 strings, like I think I have someone here, the main problem is you also have to improve your snare bed, because if the snare bed isn't wide enough, you also have the same problem as if you have no snare bed, that the pressure on the wires themselves is not even. I like to do the snare beds only by hand using different files. In my opinion, the snare bed shouldn't be too deep. I like to have a flat surface along the width of the snare wires with a pretty smooth gradient to the outside. So there is not that only snare bed you should use, there isn't a key for anything. Just try it and experiment. It depends a little bit on the shell diameters, the material, the snare wires you're gonna use, the bearing edges and so on. But just try to have it as smooth and symmetrical as possible, and I'm pretty sure you will get a pretty good result. So that was another episode of Drum Talk. Thanks for watching, check out your snare beds. And by the way, the next 2 weeks I won't upload any videos because I will be on vacation in the UK finally for 2 weeks. So I will be back on the 15th to 17th of September. Enjoy the week, see you soon, cheers!